Hello everyone, Daniel Kerr here. I haven't uploaded an ESX tutorial in a long time, but recently I passed 60,000 video views, which is kind of crazy. Regardless, that's all of my videos combined. Some people, I don't know, maybe if I had some funny, cute cat pictures or something, or some Justin Bieber. If I tagged Justin Bieber in all of the videos, then maybe I would have millions and millions on each video, but probably not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a process. This is going to be a few videos in sequence, and I'm going to go through the process of creating a live show. Now, for those of you who are in the Michigan area, I am playing 1 week from today on June 6th, and I'm playing at the Aloha Lounge in Flint, Michigan. And it's the first time that I've played in Flint in a long time, officially. I've thrown a couple of rhythms and beats down on the street a couple of times, but that's it. So I'm going to go through every single process that I use to create a live show using my ESX, because I always use the ESX. And I'm going to use some other things as well. I'm going to use some software to get the samples ready for the ESX. I'm going to do some of the sound design and software. I'm even going to be using some other hardware and different things. And it's likely that that many of the viewers are not going to have all of the things that I have in order to create this live set. But all of you have an ESX, and if you have other things laying around, other types of software or other types of hardware, or really anything, even a microphone and a mixer, you can duplicate the process that I am going to do, that I'm going to be doing to get this thing together. So, since I am documenting the entire process, the first thing that I do when I'm about to make music, I don't think it's any mystery to any of you that I am a Christian, and the first thing that I do is pray. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Heavenly Father, I come to you in the name of Jesus, your Son, and I pray, Father, that you would anoint these hands, that you would anoint my thought processes, Father. I pray that you will give me creativity and inspiration in order to create something absolutely beautiful that will bring glory to you no matter what, in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, the next thing I'm going to be doing is making some coffee. Now, I am a huge coffee drinker, but I found myself drinking pot after pot after pot, and so to maximize the amount of caffeine per cup, I took to drinking instant coffee, which I know a lot of people are like, instant coffee, gross, but you know what, I love all coffee. I love coffee specialty drinks. I love Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee and really expensive blends, and I like different roasts. I love the taste of dark roast, but I kind of like the caffeine buzz of a light roast, obviously. But after a while, I got so addicted to the caffeine that I decided to lay off the coffee a little bit. So ironically, the very same thing, instant coffee, that allowed me to get the most caffeine in my system is what has allowed me to mix exactly. I have decaffeinated coffee and classic coffee, and I can mix them and match them to get a lighter caffeine now. My caffeine intake is about 1/4 or 1/5 of what it was just a couple of weeks ago, actually. Thank God. So I'm going to be making some coffee. Lots and lots of sugar. About a half a teaspoon of caffeine. 1.5 teaspoons of decaf. Okay, I guess first I'll give you an overview of what I'm going to be working with for this show, because as you can see, I have lots and lots of crap. There's an ESX, that's a different ESX. That's actually the first ESX that I ever bought. I've got some analogs and some old digitals. I've got some home keyboards. My room is an absolute mess, but I vowed that before I filmed this video, I wasn't going to clean anything up, because I wanted you to see how it actually is supposed to be. I think for this show, let me move my Bible. For this show I'm going to be using an ASRX. This is the original ASRX, but it's been expanded to the Turbo Pro version. It looks basically like the original, but it's the same as the red one. I've got this ESX, which I'm going to be using, my 2880 looper, my mixer. That distortion pedal is for my guitar. I had it hooked up a while ago. I'm not going to be using that. I will be using, well, I have this modified Casio. That's not what I'm going to be using, though. I am going to be using this, the Yamaha PSS 380. And this has a nice FM synthesizer on it that's editable in real time, and it sounds beautiful. But in the preparation of this set, I'm probably not going to be using this much. These are my dogs. We live in Flint. They just love to bark. My son's a genius. My dogs are not. Okay, so the first thing that I did is I cracked open Ableton Live. Now, Ableton Live is my my favorite dedicated audio workstation, digital audio workstation. DAW. It's my favorite one. I started out in the well, using Atari sequencers, and then afterward I got into Cakewalk. That was my first Windows sequencer, and then we used Logic for a while. And then a friend of mine, we had a Pro Tool. He had a nice Pro Tool system in the 90s. We still used Logic for MIDI, of course. And then after a while, some Cubase and some Nuendo. I've used pretty much every object-oriented programming language for granular synthesis and weird stuff like that. Was really into IDM and stuff even in the 90s. Anyway, after using every type of software known to man, I have come to realize and to believe that well, Ableton is the be-all and end-all of music softwares and is the finest and most feature-rich software on the planet, in my personal opinion. Anyway, it doesn't matter what you use. You can use anything. So I opened up my template. I set my template at different things. It's set to 75 BPMs, which is roughly 150 if you want to double that. I'm going to turn it down to 70 because that's what I'm going to be working with the ESX during the live show. So over here you got your instrument browser, your plugin browser, and your file browser. And if you double click on these, you notice all these things are open. If you double click on them, they close right up. And I do that often because there's nothing worse than clicking on something and finding out that a bunch of stuff is open like that. I like it to look neat and proper, not anything at all like my studio space. So, first thing I'm going to do basically is I'm just going to be recording some synth sounds to put into the ESX. So, I'm going to basically go into my plugins, and I think a good place to start is Reactor 5, because I love Reactor. So from here I'm going to drag a laser bass over, and I'm going to create a local copy. Autosave is on, and Reactor 5. What I usually do is I like to throw up some good presets and then just tweak the presets to find something that I like. You can even start with something like the initialized voice, but the presets on Laserbase, they sound pretty good. Now that is a beautiful sound for the ESX. So what I want to do is I want to put a MIDI clip in here, and I always want to do C, because C is where everything should be transposed to. I'm going to put a note in here on C. I'm going to stretch it all the way across and then play it. Okay, now I don't need that much. I'll probably use that's good. And then I will record that in the session view. Take that little piece, stretch it out to 1 bar. then I will, oh, before anything else, I'll put a compressor on it. Makes it nice and loud. Select all, and I'm going to render this. Now, export audio video. When it comes here, because I'm using it in the ESX, I want to convert it to mono. So I'm going to click that. And I'm going to put this on the desktop in a new folder called WobWed, because it's Wobble Wednesdays where I'm going to be playing. Open that up. I'm going to call it S for Synth 1. Done. Okay, I'll do one more just to show you guys what's up. I'll flip back over here, and here is where my reactor is. Going to get rid of that. The note is still there in the MIDI information. And I'll find something maybe a little higher this time, maybe a upper synth. I'm going to be getting a lot of bass lines, or a lot of bass sounds and a lot of synth sounds so that I can use them in the ESX. From here, the GTG free synths are pretty good. You can find those online. This is called the GGST 2008, and it's got some really weird granular sounds. I'm going to bust out some of these. Oh, hear that? That's a nice bass sound there. Do a little bit of tweaking. Now, these LFO rates, if I set them to sync, then it doesn't matter what resolution I use or whatever, because it's syncing to the BPM of 70, which I'm going to be using in the ESX. So from here again, I'll get a low one of these and a high one. Flip it over. Alright, this time I'm going to stretch the note out a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty good. A little shorter. Select all. Export audio video. Mono is on. And I should have named the one here B1. I'm going to name this one B2. Now, I'm going to take it up an octave by holding down Shift. Once you have this selected, you can hold up Shift and use the up arrows. Alright, that sounds pretty good. I'm going to loop that for a second so I can adjust it. I'm going to take that LFO out. Just messing with it a little. I'm going to change the pulse width. It's good for a synth sound. Turn off the loop, select all, export, and I'll call this one S2 for synth 2. Alright, let me do a few more of these and I'll be right back. Okay, now I've gotten a bunch of synth sounds and bass sounds. I have about 30 sounds. That's good for a good start. So now I need to get some drums. I have a drum rack that I created in Ableton. That is what I call my dubstep kit. And I just made it good drum sounds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that entire kit and I'm going to throw that into the ESX. Now, in order to do that, if you've seen my first tutorial video, it was putting entire drum kits into the ESX in one sample file and then slicing them up. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be creating myself a MIDI clip, and the instrument itself has all kinds of sweet stuff in it, but okay, starting from here, basically what I need to do is I need to put a compressor on that so that everything hits really hard, and not only that, but there shouldn't be a lot of variation in volume. So I want my ratio on the compressor to be about 3.5, and I'm going to hit it fairly hard, compress it pretty good, nice and punchy, and I'm going to raise the volume until it's just below clipping. In fact, what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to put a limiter on it past the compressor so I can get it up to clipping. Alright, from here, go down to the bottom here, and what I can do is I can start with I'm just going to basically add the notes in. I know there's a faster way of doing this. I don't know what it is. So actually, let me see if I can try something here. Oh well. I'm going to figure out a better way of doing this, and then I'm going to let you guys know. But for now, what I'm going to be doing is adding one drum sound per 16th note. Alright, when this is over, I'll get back. I'm going to pause the video for a second. Okay, I have them all here, and I have them all in this clip. As you can see, all here. And when I take this clip, Control X, Session View, drop it in its spot, you can see it it lasts about 13 seconds, almost 14 seconds. And it's pretty much all the drums I'm going to need. Listen. Whoops. Alright, beautiful. That's absolutely everything I'm going to need. I'll take this, Control A, export, and I will call this D1. Of course, I'm doing it in mono again, like I said. Okay, I've closed Ableton Live, and I've opened the Open Electro editor, which you can find online. So go ahead and look it up. It's free. Regardless, I created a new ESX file called wobwed.esx, and if I go to the sample info, there it is, I can import samples. I think it's Control I, or is it? Yeah, it's Control I. So I can import. Yeah, Control I. So I go to the desktop where my folder is called wobwed, and I crack it open. And the first thing I want to do is put my drums right at number 1. And then after that, actually, you know what? I can import all of them. I'll put them all in order. And this D1 here obviously was duplicated here. That's fine. everything that I got. This is all my drums and all my synth sounds. And what I want to do now is I want to save this file. Where I put it on the desktop. Yeah, this is the flyer for the show. I think it's pretty outrageous and funny. Alright, this is saved, so I'm going to close it, and let's load it into the ESX. Play. What happened? Play some more. Sing an Echo song.
Echo, Pepper.
He's too tired without a diaper. There you go.
Cheese.
Hi, honey.
Okay, I'm back. Now, there's going to be some noise in the background because my son is a genius. And he is a more active genius now, so he actually causes a fair bit of a ruckus. Anyway, so I've taken the set from the computer and I loaded it onto a smart media card. And I loaded it into the machine. One thing that you'll notice is that remember we had 2 copies of the D1, the drum sample. I have the drum sample on 000, and I also have it on 17. So I don't need the one on 000, and that's good. Here's what it sounds like anyway. I think that's just about every drum sound that I could ever possibly need, at least for this set. I don't know. I'll probably load some of the factory set drum kits up too, the old 909 and the 808 and things like that. You know, if you watched the first video, I mentioned earlier that the video where I show you how to load entire kits up at one time and then slice them into different spots. What I did actually when I first figured that out was I took all of the original sounds and put them all on one file, and then did that. So I actually have a factory set with all the factory drum sounds, with all the bass drums in one sample spot, all the snare drums in one sample spot, and the hi-hats and so on and so forth. Anyway, first thing I'm going to do is while I'm in sample mode, I'm going to turn off momentarily the audio in through, which is the microphone that I'm speaking in. That's why my voice is coming through so much clearer now. I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to record a tiny little bit of blank space, sample a tiny little bit of silence. 1 second. Okay, here's what it sounds like. Nothing. Sweet. I'm going to make it as tiny as possible. And I'm going to truncate it, and I'm going to sample, or I'm going to write it to 000. That way, when I clear a pattern out, it won't give me 4 steps of bass drums or anything like that. So that's good. Here's some of the different sounds. Oh, it's still writing. Sorry. Here's some of the different synth sounds I got. Okay, what you'll notice about those sounds is that compared to the drums especially, they're very quiet. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to normalize all of them. The first one, this is what it sounds like. Okay, I'm going to shift and 11, which is normalize, and normalize it. It's much louder now. As time goes on, I might need to, I'm going to write this. As time goes on, I might need to take the normalized samples and go shift 11 again and go to play level and add 12 decibels. Oops. which makes them much, much louder. But as a general rule, I'm not going to do that yet because there's a tendency when I do that to really want to boost all of the to make everything way too loud when I'm actually performing. It's so weird for me to listen back to my sets or to play my sets and find out how much quieter like the first 10 sequences or patterns are compared to the last 10. It's intense. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through this and I'm going to edit these samples and I'll be right back. Okay, back again. Now I put all the I put all the I put all those samples onto a smart media card, and then I put them into the ESX, and then I completely edited all of them, edited all of them, and I brought them, normalized them, brought them up to 0, and then I took the drum sample with all of the hits on it, and I sliced it into pieces, and just like I did in the first video, and so now I can use any of those samples anywhere. Now, next I'm going to grab some drum loops so that I can slice those up and use those in the actual slice spot on the sampler. So I'm back in Ableton Live, and what I'm going to do is I've got some of the, you can grab any sample pack with some drum loops. I'm going to show you how to make them a little bit unique so that you can use them. They're not so easily recognizable and this and that. A lot of this is cheating. I mean, regardless, you can smash out a beat and then like record it and then change it and alter it and do all these things. But much of this I consider like grunt work or basically just a lot of work. And so I'd rather just have somebody do it for me. So if it's cheating, sure, whatever. I'm going to use um, the electro hip hop samples that came with like some 2000 or 2001 version of Sony Acid Pro or something. In the beats, there's a lot of them. You can audition Ableton just by grabbing, just clicking on one. As you can hear, they're a good source of just, I don't know, average hip-hop drum beats. So what I'm going to do is grab a couple of those. Actually, I'm going to grab a few of those. I've got my audio tracks over here. And what I'm going to do is grab one, stick it here, and grab another one. Actually, I'm just going to work down the row just to show you guys exactly how this is done, or exactly how I do it anyway. So I'll pull these down. I've got 2 columns. So that each time I play one of these, it's going to play 2 beats at once. Now notice how those are kind of phased out a little bit. This is going to give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beats. Here's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to take all of these and make a copy and bring them all down here. Oops. So we got some room here. Hold down Shift, hold down Control to drag, and I'm going to do it like this. That way they're kind of crisscrossed. Now, these ones here, I'm going to transpose up. Actually, I can grab all of these at once and transpose them all. Let's see first. They're all transposed now to 10. I think that's a little bit high. So what I'm going to do, select them all and transpose them to 8. Alright, so now they're transposed up. I'm going to grab these ones and I'm going to transpose all of those down 3. So now when I play them, they're not going to be so phased. Listen. Okay, I'm going to put these back to 70 on here. They're all warped. Everything's good. As you can hear, those are some big, thick drum beats. So I am going to, from the top, I'm going to initialize the record, and I'm going to record them all the way down. Okay, now when I go to session view, you can see that I have 10 beats, and they're all pretty, they're all 1 bar or 2 bars a piece. So what I can do is first on the master I'm going to add a limiter to keep it from clipping. I do want these nice and bright. And before the limiter, I'm going to add a compressor. Oops. And the compressor, I'm going to turn the ratio up to about 3.5 or more. And let's see, I'll just play. Alright, that's going to make these really nice and loud. So now I'm just going to hold shift and grab the first 2. Export audio video. Now I'm going to the ESX. I'm going to convert to mono, like I did. And I'm going to put these into the WobWed folder. And this time, I'm going to call them, that first drum sample was D1. These ones are going to be D2. Done. Delete those. Go to the next ones. D3, so on and so forth. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'll be right back. Okay, all of the drum samples have been rendered into files. D2 through D11. Now all these beats are still here. I'm going to grab all these drum samples and delete them. And what I have next is I need a little bit of texture, some weirdness. So what I have is I have some, let me find them. From Music Radar, you can look online and find a bunch of Music Radar samples that are free that were given away with a magazine or something. What I'm going to do is open up one, the retro video game samples. There are little 8-bit style beats, right? There are loops, which are pretty much beats. They're just blips and bleeps with, Nintendo style. And then there's effects. Now these are all a bunch of effects. What I'm going to do for these guys, exactly. So I'm going to grab a few of these. I'm going to throw those over here. I like that one. That one sounds pretty good. Yeah, let's do some more. That's pretty awesome. That's a good. That's awesome too. Of course. Okay, that's good. Now what I'm going to do with these is I can grab all of these, and these I'm going to render all in one sample slot on the ESX. So I can grab all these by holding, clicking one and holding down Shift, get them all. Control X copies and grabs them, like removes them, and they're in number 5. I'll just paste them here, and that's it. And this is what it sounds like. I see. Okay, it looks like they warped all of these. All of these were warped. I don't really want them warped, so I'm going to unwarp them.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to undo all of these actions and go back to where they were. And I'm going to select them all again, and I'm going to not warp them. Okay. Now I'm going to Control X them, flip them over, and lay them down. I don't know why. Alright, I'm putting them, if there's a little space between them, no big deal. In reality, once I put these into the ESX, I don't even really have to, I don't even have to slice them, you know, because I can just use the sample start and end point knobs to set them once I put them. Anyway, this is what they sound like. I think that first one's too long. Hold down Shift, grab all these, and screw them over. That one's kind of long too. Grab all these. Okay, now the compressor and everything is still intact. It's like I had it before with the limiter, so none of these are going to clip. I'm just going to grab all of these and I'm going to render them all with mono, convert them to mono, and I'm going to call them BG for video game samples. Done. Okay, so I'm back again, and last but not least, I'm going to grab some, I don't know, in the Vengeance sample pack they call them tail kicks. They're basically big kick drums and cymbals for the start of like a breakdown and stuff. But they have a long reverb tail. You know what I'm talking about. As soon as you hear it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Anyway, regardless, this time I'm going to use Audacity. The reason why is because many of you don't have Ableton Live, although you can download a demo and still like use all the synths and everything. You just have to plug it directly into your ESX and sample it piece by piece, which is kind of time consuming. Regardless, this is Audacity. This is totally free and is available for everyone on any platform. So holding down Shift and Control and I imports. I'm going to import a track from my, let's see, libraries, documents, audio samples. I'm going to go Vengeance Essential House Volume 1, and then in Effects, there are, oh, hall kicks. That's what they call them. Sweet. Anyway, I'm going to grab one here. And this is what it sounds like. I like the first part. I don't like all that wiggity wiggity stuff in there. So I'm going to find another one. Maybe number 4. That's exactly what I'm talking about right there. However, I'm a firm believer that it needs to fade out a little quicker. So, I mean, after all, this is the ESX. We don't have a ton of time. So I'm going to delete some of this. I'm going to grab this chunk here, and I'm going to go Effect, Fade Out. And then what I'm going to do, actually, is I'm just going to minimize this screen. I'm going to go ahead and find in my documents audio samples, Vengeance Essential House, Effects, Hall Kicks. That's a silly name. Anyway, in here, make this window a little bigger. And right afterward, I'll just grab, that was number 4, I'll grab number 5 and put it there. And number 6, I'll put that in 2. And I'll pull number 7 in there. And I'll pull number 12 in there. So now, in Audacity, now of course they put them all one after another. So what I have to do is I have to grab all these, Control X, Control V, get rid of this track, hold Shift, Control X, Control V, get rid of this track, hold Shift, Control X, Control V, get rid of that, hold Shift, get rid of this track, Control X, mixing up the order, sorry guys. Oh, that was it. Okay, so there they all are, one after the other, that's what it sounds like. Okay, that thing there is just ridiculous. Let me get rid of about this much of that one. To Control R, repeat, fade out. Don't need that. That sounds pretty useful. I'll get rid of that much. And fade out from here. Control R, repeat, fade out. Let's see. I'm going to get rid of some of the space between them. In fact, I'm going to get rid of all the space between them. The reason why is because, like I said, we're working with the ESX and we want to save space. And as you can see, this is taking up about 12 seconds already. So now I select all, Control J, joins them all together. Now, tracks, stereo track to mono. You got to remember that because this is the ESX. Once again, effect, amplify. Brings it all the way to the top. Export selection, and we'll go desktop, WAB-WED, and we will call this HK for Hall Kicks. I don't really know what that means. Okay, so now I have all the samples that I want, and I want to put them back into the sample set again. So I've taken the card out of the Korg, and I've put it in a card reader. And now I'm putting the card reader into the computer, and I open it up, and WAB-WED is the one that I want, so drag that to the desktop, which makes a copy. And in the computer itself, in the WAB-WED folder, in the ESX folder, I have the old version, but now I have this new version, so I want to drag it in there, and I want to move and replace. Now I want to crack open the Open Electro editor, so that I can replace the old one with the new one and add the new samples. This guy Jeff at Scratch.dot, he works hard. If you wanted to send him some money, that would be great. I'm sure that he would love to have it. So now I open the ESX file. There it is. And it's loading. And we'll go to the samples. We have no patterns yet. And we've got lots of samples left over. So we're going to Shift Control I to import. Or maybe it's just Control I. Yep, there it is. And we'll go to the desktop. Excuse me. We'll go into the WAB-WED folder again. And I will grab all the drum samples that I just made, which is D2 through D11. And I'll import those. There they are. And Control I again. And we're going to import the video game sample, which is VG. Import that. Control I again. And the HK, which is the Hall kick, apparently. And there we have it. Now I want to save. And I want to close the editor. And then I want to go to the saved one, which is here, wob wed, and I want to drag that onto the Smart Media card, removable disk. And again, copy and replace.
Okay, I'm back. What I want to do first is I want to grab, I'm going to go to global. I have put the new version of the sample set in and over and loaded it up over top of the other one. I'm going to go to global. I'm going to shift 16. I'm going to go to the factory set and grab a few drum hits and things that I like to use. So I go to load E sample, factory, and I can audition them by hitting the play button. I'm going to grab the ones I like to use a lot. That guy I love. Do the same thing. This is kind of a I don't know, pain in the butt, but it's worth it in the end. Love that one. Love that guy. Some of them are girls. That one was definitely a guy. That's a nice one. Going to grab some snares. Actually, I grab that clap. Actually, I'm going to grab a few more, and I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, so I've loaded up everything that I wanted from the factory set, and now I have a plethora of good stuff in my machine. I've got some basses. Sound beautiful. I've got my drums, which, if you remember, are now on their own separate slices now. So, got hits, pads, good synths, and brasses. I've got drum loops. Those all need to be chopped up. I'll get to that. Got the hall kicks and all of the single cycle waveforms and drum hits that I wanted from the factory set, which is just a handful, not many. Now I'm going to edit all this stuff, and then I'm going to go to bed. And in the morning I will be down for the next installment.